Welcome to episode 38 of the World of Screens podcast. On today's show, reviews for Christy and Nouvelle Vague, the two main releases in Australian cinemas this week. Plus, we catch up on the Christmas box office results that swept Australia over the last few weeks. I'm Nick Labarro, the founder and film editor at World of Screens, joined, as always, by Peter Gray from the AU Review, Rotten Tomatoes certified critic man, interview extraordinaire, bellwether critic, Toronto native, and what are you this week? Maybe lover of the French New Wave. Maybe not. Who knows? We'll find out soon enough. How's it going, Pete? It's good to see you. It's been a couple of weeks since we've done this.
Been a couple of weeks. I've spent the holiday watching the Golden Globes.
It is Golden Globe Day on the day of recording. Yep.
Seeing things that were both expected and big surprises.
I already know what your biggest surprise was, but maybe for a listener, what was the biggest surprise and what was the one that did not surprise? What was the shoe in?
So I think two biggest surprises came from Hamnet winning Best Picture Drama.
Mm-hmm.
No, and that's like Hamnet's a great film.
We're talking about it next week as well, so you'll hear about how much we love it.
It should be deservedly winning those kind of awards. But when you're going against Sinners,
which was our favorite movie of the year,
Sinners. But yes, Hamnet won Best Picture Drama, and Tiana Taylor won Best Supporting Actress for One Battle After Another, which is a surprise mainly because at the moment we're seeing Amy Madigan just kind of sweep. Yeah. So Tiana Taylor winning is a surprise, but also not, because it was as soon as One Battle After Another came out, like she was immediately
all over the
all over it. Yeah. So it was like, yeah, it was just more of a,
like you said, I think you said coming off that Amy Madigan sweep. It's kind of like,
oh, okay,
what's going on here now?
So they were surprises. Expected. I think One Battle After Another winning Best Picture Comedy is expected.
Yeah.
Paul Thomas Anderson winning Best Director was kind of expected.
Mm.
Controversially for me, Chalamet winning Best Actor in a Comedy is expected.
Yes.
He's personally, I haven't been frothing at the cup of Timothy this season.
You're not caught up in Schwepp? You're not a Schwepp head?
No, I'm not. And again, nothing against Chalamet. I was all for him winning last year for A Complete Unknown.
Yeah, for sure. Great movie. Fantastic movie.
This year, I don't know if it's because he's up against people like Ethan Hawke, who I think should be winning. But I also haven't really appreciated Chalamet's approach this year.
Yeah. I think it's made so much more sense since Marty Supreme came out and everyone's gone, is he just being Marty?
And it's weird because his speech was so kind of
humble and subdued. Yeah.
It wasn't as he did say the however many times I've lost here, he's like, this, it makes this win that much sweet. And I was like, that's okay, that's true. But
it's like we've heard that before, sure.
Yeah. He's just kind of been a bit too aggressive, and it's like, has that all been Marty Supreme marketing, so to speak?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm like, to me, I'm like, I want Ethan Hawke to win.
That is for Blue Moon, not the Black Phone 2. As much as we'd love the Black Phone 2 nominated.
DiCaprio, as much as he already has awards, I'm like, I think DiCaprio's performance is better.
Yeah, okay.
Michael B. Jordan would be amazing to be seen, but I'm now very worried post Golden Globes about Sinners.
Yeah, just in general. Yeah.
Wagner Moura for Secret Agent now seems a bit more of a shoo-in, which is great. But Chalamet now seems like a very massive front runner. But the other part of me is like, maybe if he wins, he'll then shut up afterwards because he will have an award and he won't need to be as
Nah, he's in his 20s. He won't do that. Yeah. He's a hot shit, as the kids say. And I liked him. I really liked him in Mighty Supreme, but I think I agree with you. I think he was better in A Complete Unknown. But it was just one of those movies that kind of fell
And also,
two better movies. Like,
and
in
it was also,
fairness.
yeah, it was against the Brutalists, and it's like that makes complete sense. But and then it's like, but should we have given Chalamet that win, and then we wouldn't have had to endure Adrian Brody's speech?
Hey,
So,
hey, sometimes you just got to let Adrian Brody.
and you got to let him talk for 18 minutes. So it's all good.
Hollywood, what a world.
Hollywood, baby.
Hollywood. But I think, yeah, well, there'll be definitely some more chats and recaps about award seasons. Now it's kind of in full effect. It really kicked off while we were on the break, and then
Yeah,
got Globes today. Was it March? Is the Oscars March 4th or
I think
something?
it's really early March, I
Early
think.
March, I believe. So we've got another about 6 weeks of awards
And
chatter and
obviously
whatnot.
we've got the BAFTAs, which is the
BAFTAs. Yeah.
major
The
ones.
ACTR Awards, which
The actor,
are one of the
which are
biggest
now,
precursors for
yeah,
everything.
yeah, which
Not That's like 3 weeks away.
like, and I don't know why I couldn't just call it SAG Awards,
Yeah,
but
but here we are. So
anyway, Hollywood, baby.
Hollywood, baby. We love Hollywood. We love Hollywood as much as we love housekeeping on this show. And yeah, I know the two H's, the biggest H's in my life. Third being hemorrhoids. That's not true.
Yeah, I was like, that took a turn.
It took a turn. It was the only H word I could think of that wasn't heroin. Look, let's get back to housekeeping, Pete. Stop
Wow.
sidetracking me on
Yeah,
that.
that
That's the rustiness.
when you just can't think of a H word, and you're like, surely it's hemorrhoids or heroin, right? Not
Welcome to
heart,
2 weeks off of
humor,
podcasting.
happy.
Yeah,
None of it. None of it.
Just shows where our minds are at the
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Housekeeping. If this is the sort of chat you love, make sure you subscribe to our to our show on your preferred podcasting platform. While you're out there subscribing, you can also jump on the YouTube channel where you can watch us. Subscribe there, like, comment, all of the good stuff. Subscribe to worldofscreens.com's email list. Mercy giveaway just went out today. You can win tickets to the new Chris Pratt, Rebecca Ferguson AI film.
Now you're excited.
So are we, and you'll hear us talk about it, I don't know, a few weeks from now about how keen we are about Mercy. And at World of Screens of Instagram, all of your support's incredibly helpful. You mentioned Ethan Hawke in Blue Moon.
I did,
Which
yes.
is from director Richard Linklater,
I
who
was
we
like,
will
I
be.
can see this segue
Bang,
coming.
bang, bang. He's back.
He's back. He's back, baby.
He's back, baby. Blue Moon, which we'll be talking about in about 2 weeks. That's coming out in Australia just in the end of January. So we'll be talking about that fantastic performance. But Richard Linklater, Ethan Hawke doubled up on performances. Richard Linklater doubled up on directorial efforts in 2025. And the first one we're seeing in Australia is Nouvelle Vague.
Celui qui est au milieu, c'est Truffaut. À sa gauche, bien sûr, on a Chabrol. Et celui avec les lunettes noires, c'est Jean-Luc Godard. C'est lui le vrai génie. Du moins, c'est ce qu'il te dira.
Moi, je suis prêt à réaliser. Maintenant.
Aujourd'hui, tout le monde adore la Nouvelle Vague.
So this is a comedy drama film, as aforementioned, directed by Richard Linklater. It stars Guillaume Marbeck as Jean-Luc Godard, Zoe Dutch as Jean Seberg, and Aubrey de Lille as Jean-Paul Belmondo. And it is a film that chronicles the making of Breathless, Jean-Luc Godard's 1960 first feature film, and one of the most influential films in the French New Wave movement. I've never seen Breathless. Jean-Luc Godard's a real blind spot for me. What about you?
Sorry, I was yawning.
I caught you at the worst time.
That was the worst time, and also it makes
it fuck.
And also it makes it seem like you go, oh, you're Breathless, and I'm like, oh god, French films. Oh. No, I'm the same. Like, haven't seen Breathless. Not a filmmaker that I have seen work for. Or, maybe does that make us bad cinephiles? Possibly, but
maybe
we're also owning up to the fact that we haven't seen it,
which is good.
It didn't. I don't think it deterred me from this film, but
sure,
it just. I don't know. It is one of those things where I think if you really know the director or you really know the film, I feel like there's an immediate like connection that you have. And watching this, I just was a little bit like, I don't know, I think you've just got to really know these films to like really get into this, because it's just a lot of conversation that
which is a staple of Richard Linklater's sort of
Yeah.
filmography, right?
Yeah, and it's like nothing again, and it's like nothing against Linklater because I think he has made some incredible
Yeah,
films.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, this one I don't know, I just couldn't find that connection.
Yeah.
I was kind of like, it's weird with a Linklater movie. It's almost like you can't really wait for something to happen because so much of his movies are in just dialogue.
They're hangout movies, right?
But this was another one where I was like, yeah, I was still waiting for like just something to like really pull me in.
You wanted the mishap on set. You wanted the big confrontation between actor and director. And it just
and like
doesn't happen.
Yeah, and like I was like Zoe Deutch, like she is just I think she's so underrated as an actress.
I think she's great. I think she's really great in this. I do think all the performances in this are really
That's
good.
it. It's like this film is kind of perfectly acted. And like I guess the one thing that my one sort of connection to this was like I've the film Seberg with Kristen Stewart.
Yes.
So it's like, so I'd seen that film, and so I was like, oh, I knew about Seberg, but that film was so much more about this kind of crazy,
this like second stage of her career.
And where she's like involved in like a potential like.
There's the FBI like listening in on her for
like there's like I think there's a murder. Like it's not is it a murder anyway? But like that. So when
there's an investigation that she gets caught up in.
Yeah. So when I knew that Zoe Deutch was playing, I was like, okay. I was like, I know something
about Jane Seberg.
And it's great to see Seberg in this film as an actress to be like, okay, this is like she was performer. She was so charismatic,
and it was very much like the start of her blow up as an actress as well. Like this is her coming to France to be like, hey, we've got this Hollywood actress to be in the film. But he goes after her, Jean-Luc. Anyway,
I just wasn't to it. Like I wasn't grabbed by this, but I was like, but that's also not to say that it's a bad film. I agree
because technically I think it's great. I was very much immersed into the atmosphere of the movie. I love the way it looks like it was filmed in 1960.
It does,
but not in like that very showy sort of, modern digital way. Like I found it to be very nostalgic, I guess.
And also that's Linklater's like he makes films feel in their era.
Yes.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
And that's probably what the movie had going the most for me. I enjoyed the aesthetic. I enjoyed the style. I thought the performances were good, despite how grating the character of Jean-Luc Godard can be, which I know is intentional.
Yeah.
But again, if you don't know a lot about him and you don't know a lot about his filmography, that's tough to sit through for 100 minutes. I think repetitive is probably the right word too, but you are watching this guerrilla film getting made as well. Like they don't have permits to shoot. He wants to shoot this new new wave style, is having the actors walk around the streets and conversing while he's like filming from a hotel bedroom. It's very sort of avant-garde and whatnot. So I think if you are a lover of French New Wave cinema, if that is your niche, I guess, because you could say cinephile in general, but we love movies. It's a blind spot, and it's probably not something that I'm overtly interested in at the time. Yeah. But if you love that era of film and you love that style, you'll probably get a lot out of this. Mikey Walsh, who wrote the review for this for World of Screens, loved it. He said it's a testament and it's a love letter to French New Wave. And I'm like, perfect. I don't know a lot about it. Doesn't make me a bad movie man, but it's just not my thing.
Yeah.
But again, it's not a bad movie though.
Yeah.
Just not into it.
Yeah.
From a content sort of
and also just going off of something that we spoke about before the cameras were on.
Before the cameras were recording.
Very, very good of you to not review this film, if that makes sense. Just because of going off of the Grace Randolph.
We did talk about the Grace Randolph stuff before.
How she saw a film called Primate, which is coming out here next week. She saw 2/3 of it and walked out, and it sort of started this debate because it's like there's nothing
because she posted a review.
That's the thing. It's like there's nothing wrong about necessarily walking out of a film.
Yeah, if you really don't fucking
if you're a critic at an invited screening,
it's a little bit more up in
and
there, sure.
As someone pointed out, they're like, critics that get invited to screenings and you walk out of them, I'm like, like a lesser critic could get barred, like
kicked off the list for that, sure.
Kicked off the list for that. But it was the fact that she wrote a review and logged it with Rotten Tomatoes, and her negative review obviously affects the overall scale of that. And it's like, that's not a full, like, yes, if you leave 20 minutes before the end of a movie, it's unlikely that your view is going to change. I understand that going in her favor because other people are like,
if you're playing a bit of devil's advocate,
the end of a movie doesn't change things. I'm like, although there are some movies that in their last 30 minutes, 20 minutes can completely alter things. So I was like,
as silly as it sounds, there's been endings of movies that have been the difference between like half a star.
Yeah.
For a movie for me, that goes from a 3.5 to a 4, or goes from like a 3 to a exactly right. Yeah. So it's one of those things, and it's also like you are in, and this is something that's never lost on us. You are in the privileged position of getting to watch this movie early and for free.
Yeah. Yeah.
The least you can do is just hang around for the 18 minutes movie.
Yeah. If you're
but she gloated about it. That's the issue. She gloated about the fact she's like
gloating. And yeah, it's like if you're in this industry that we love and that Nick and I, as much as we sort of are quite proud of where we are sitting, we also don't take any of this for granted at all. Like we know that not every single invite, not every single interview is guaranteed.
Absolutely not.
So for her to sort of say that, and you're like,
sort of laugh in the face of it as
and
well.
you're like you're not respecting cinema in any way, shape, or form.
No.
The whole reason I was saying that was like that Nick, who, watched this film but was like, it's just not necessarily clicking with me, and that could very much determine how you review this film.
Yes.
You've given it to someone who genuinely loves it.
Who loves it. Yeah, yeah.
So it's absolutely. Like, that was where I was going. I was like, it's like me looking at it from like an editorial perspective as well, being like, I have a writer who loves these kind of French wave films. This will be perfect for him, because then if he doesn't like it, you're like, French wave is what he loves.
Exactly. So maybe it's just not a good movie. Yeah.
So that was where I was going with that. I was like,
and I think as well, we both said it already on this episode. We're kind of like, we can see that it's a well-made film. We can see that it's a technically well-made film, that it's made with a lot of love from Richard Linklater, and it's acted really well. And if it's just not for us, that's okay.
Yeah. Like there will be audiences that will see this and will probably be like, it's boring, it's too much talking.
It's already been quite well received, right? Like that's the whole
It was nominated for a Golden Globe for Best Comedy. So, but also don't think of it as being a traditional comedy, because it's not.
No, it's a very it's the quirkiness of it is the comedy of it. Yeah,
we know the Globes like to play fast and loose with what they consider comedy. Okay, the fact that like Rose Byrne.
Yes, yeah. Like, if I had legs, I'd kick you. Go back and listen to that episode. Obviously, not
like it's occasionally it has some very dark humor, but a comedy performance it is not. But regardless, I just think this film will have a very specific audience, and I really hope that specific audience loves it. And also, it is really great that a movie like this has a theatrical release.
Absolutely.
Like, that to me is the biggest win, that a film that is so niche and so small in the grand scheme of everything is getting a proper theatrical release.
Yeah.
It might only last a week. That's still a week in cinemas that a small film like this has. So I think that's almost the biggest takeaway from this.
I 100% agree. And I think it's a testament to the fact that all cinema should be celebrated.
Yeah.
No matter what. Funnily enough, the same criticisms we kind of have for this, I feel like we're kind of going to be slightly on the opposite end of the spectrum when we talk about Richard Linklater's next film in a few weeks, or his other film, Blue Moon. Because again, a subject I didn't know a lot about, but I enjoyed a lot more for different reasons.
Yeah, actually, yes, yeah.
I think that's going to be a very interesting conversation when this sort of
Yeah.
rears its head up then. But that is Nouvelle Vague. That's in cinemas this week. We missed a couple of weeks of the box office because we pre-recorded a few episodes, and it was the Christmas period. It was the Boxing Day period, and we had some absolutely massive movies that have performed incredibly well around the world.
One of them performing the way it does has just made my gay heart so happy.
I'm excited to talk about that when we get to it, because I know exactly what you're talking about. But as always, thank you to Numero Box Office. We're going to look at the top 5 of last week, but I'm also going to talk about the totals it has made since they've come out. But number 5, which did only release last week, Song Sung Blue, came in at $1.7 million.
Wow.
Strong debut. It's Hugh Jackman. The Aussies come out for Hugh.
Actually,
but also not a terrible movie. We both enjoyed it for what it was.
That it's weird to say that surprises me because
I didn't think it was going to be as big either.
That's it. I thought, oh, this will be, I don't. It's obviously translated a lot more.
Yeah.
I think it getting the New Year's Day screening release kind of helped it.
I think so too. Yeah.
Because it is catering to the audiences who aren't the ones out doing crazy New Year's parties and stuff.
Yes, that's a good point.
You're not like, I'm so hungover on New Year's Day, I can't possibly go to the movies. But
I'm not going to go see Song Sung Blue.
But their parents are. And they're like, we're gonna go see that lovely Hugh Jackman, that lovely Kate Hudson, about a guy named Neil Diamond. Like,
do you know that's exactly what has worked for it, because I had lunch with my auntie yesterday, and she's in her late 40s, so she's not old, but she's in her late 40s. And
because I'm like, I'm not obviously.
I know, I held myself there because I'm like, hold up, no. But Pete, you're a young 40. Don't you worry about it, baby. She was like, how is the Neil Diamond movie?
Yes.
And I was like, that's exactly what Universal want to hear. Not the fact it's about a Neil Diamond impersonator,
because
but it's the Neil Diamond movie.
Same thing. Christmas, my parents were asking me about Song Sung Blue, and I said, and I told them, I said, be prepared for it not to be super uplifting all the time. I said, like, something happens halfway through that very much changes the trajectory, gets quite and when I told them it's it's these two Neil Diamond impersonators, my stepdad was like, oh, it's not they're like, Hugh Jackman's not playing Neil Diamond. I was like, no, it's impersonators. And then they both kind of went, oh, like, not that they were like, not that they then weren't going to see it, but it has this whole personality of like, it's the Hugh Jackman Neil Diamond movie.
Exactly.
So it
Which
is
Universal probably love, by the way.
Yeah, so they're like, who cares if everyone thinks it's wrong? Like, you can imagine there are people going into that movie then going, I thought this was about Neil Diamond. And you're like, no. So it's absolutely absolutely working for it. And for it to make that much, I'm like, all right.
1.7 in Australia. Very, very good. So that was number 5. Number 4, making just under 2 million, so at 1.99. Anaconda, for a total of 12 million in Australia since Boxing Day. 12.1 to be exact.
There's this weird, like, I know that this it's just crossed $100 million at the global box office. Rightfully so.
Absolutely.
But there was this very weird conversation happening around when it was released that it was like, oh, this thing hasn't made as much money as it should have.
And this movie sucks. Like, it's just,
like, how did Jack Black and Paul Rudd, like, how did they fail? And I'm like, it opened opposite big movies.
Yeah.
One of them ginormous. The other one that has had a staggering, like, almost unheard of, like, barely is dropped. The fact that this movie has made $12 million in Australia, has now crossed $100 million worldwide. Like, it's proof that movies don't die on opening weekend. Like, we've got to remember, like, it's almost like Anaconda. And it's like, it's only been out for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So it's wild to think that it was being written off after 1.
Yeah.
I was like, but we're just getting back in, and it's kind of, is it like serendipitous that we're talking about a movie that is reminding us of the 90s?
Yeah.
About how films used to come out and would be in cinemas for months on end.
Yeah.
Like, we need to, like, we've probably said it like almost every time.
Yeah.
Opening weekend shouldn't be
the indicative indicator of,
because some movies
quality.
Really have found their mark,
their legs, and their exactly.
Like fucking Scream was released in December of 1996. December is the worst time to open a horror movie.
Yeah.
It was a slasher movie that everyone was like, yeah, cool. With a director that had kind of petered out.
Yeah.
It opened to like $6 million, and it's like, great, awesome. And then it got higher and higher. And
word of mouth, and people went and saw
over $100 million. Anyone But You opened terribly, like $8 million. That thing ended up crossing $100 million. We need to just like remember that not everyone is going to go opening weekend.
And we need to remember that the mid-budget comedy is not dead.
Yeah, like, and if that's, and like, I'm really hoping that's a massive takeaway, that Anaconda can be made for like, I think it was made for like 40 million.
Something like
which
that,
is pretty modest for a Paul Rudd, Jack Black.
That's where you kind of got to go, like, most of the money probably went to them.
Because if they actually, we know the snake isn't in it that much.
Yeah.
It was filmed in Australia, so that also probably takes down, like, it's just such a happy reminder that people are going to the theaters, but they're also going after opening weekend. We're seeing this film kind of hold itself. We loved this movie.
Loved it.
We feel like maybe we're in almost like maybe we're not in the minority of it.
I mean, I have family members who went and saw it and loved it. They were like, it's not what we thought it was going to be, but we had a lot of fun with it. That's perfect.
My mum really wants to see it, but she like hates snakes.
So and like
and I was like, I said, like, unfortunately, you do get a few.
The snake kills people. Yeah.
And she's like, it annoys her because she's like, it looks. And I was like, it's really funny.
It's really funny.
But I was like, yeah, it's just like snakes are just, it's
a non-negotiable.
Like, so I get it, but it's like, but the fact that she like wants to see it is kind of proof that
there's power to this film.
But I stand by my positive review for it. Like,
oh god, yeah, absolutely. I have not wavered in my love for this film over the last 2 weeks. I think it's fucking fantastic. I think it's so much fun.
12 million. Like it's
awesome.
I'm shocked at that. Like, not that it doesn't deserve it, but I just thought, I felt like it was going to be the casualty of.
I feel like we just didn't know. We just didn't know what it was going to do, and it's proved us wrong in the best way possible. And I can live with that.
Yeah.
Number 3, 2.2 million. Zootopia 2 still hanging in there. $34.3 million
is now the highest grossing Disney movie of all time.
Crazy,
crazy.
Because people got to remember, Inside Out 2 was Disney Pixar, I believe, and then
like Avengers movies like Disney
Marvel. Yeah, so this is Disney animation. Yeah.
Wild. Crazy. For a movie that, like,
we thought it was fine,
but like no one's talking about it.
Just, I mean, I don't know what to say. Like, maybe we're wrong, but like
it's great that it's making this much money.
Oh, I agree, 100%.
Families are going out. It means it's like, this is kind of one of those ones that you're like, it's not getting shoved on Disney Plus as early as possible. It's great. Like,
and again, it means families aren't seeing SpongeBob, which kills me. But that's
but it means that like people, like families are going to the movies together.
Totally. Yeah.
That is
consistently amazing, though, because that's been in the cinema since November.
Yeah.
That's 6 or 7 weeks now.
That's $34 million is
wild.
Yeah.
Number 2, go off, Pete. The Housemaid made $3.3 million in its second week.
Hell yeah.
13.5 million in total in Australia. This is the juggernaut of the year. 100%. This is the one that everyone was like, it'll do all right, and then it's just gone bang.
Do you
know why? Because it's fucking fun.
It's so interesting. Like, it was like, it cost $35 million to make.
Yep.
So, and like, budget is now just all anyone
talks about. Yeah.
So it was funny when it was like opening weekend, it was like, I think it made like 13 million in the States or whatever it was.
Which was more than what people expected as well. Because it came out Avatar weekend in the States. Yeah.
And it was like modest start, like, we'll see how it goes. And obviously Sydney Sweeney having box office flops all throughout the year. It's like, oh, and it's just held so strong. We're now getting a sequel.
We're getting a sequel.
Like,
it turns out audiences, and don't underestimate the female audience who want the book audience who want horny, fucked up stories.
And you've cast like three credible, solid actors who are all bombastically good looking.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, this is a very sexy looking movie,
and very intentional.
But it's just so funny to see, like, oh, it's made this much. It's now eyeing $100 million finish, and now it's like, oh, now it's eyeing $150 million. Now it's eyeing $200 million. It's just like, let it
just cook. Let it run, let it go. And
I really hope. I really hope they don't push this to VOD quickly. I was like, you need to I
don't think it has a date yet, as far as I'm aware.
I know that it's got a
physical media,
Blu-ray, DVD, 4K.
Oh,
yeah,
perfect.
We are not getting 4K here.
Fuck.
But I've seen a release date for 4K Rare Waves, and I was like, I'll order it from Rare Waves. I want that movie in 4K.
I would love that movie in 4K. Brandon Sklena's arms and Sydney Sweeney's body in 4K. Jesus Christ.
Brandon Sklena. Fuck.
He's one of them. But this is it. And you know what? Do you know what else it says? We want R-rated content.
That's it. Like, stop.
We want adult movies for adults.
All of this shit that I read about, like, we did test scores and like, oh, Gen Z just don't want sex. But who the fuck cares what Gen Z wants?
They're not the only people going to the movies.
Also,
yes, they do, because they went and saw The Housemaid.
Like, maybe they didn't want it before, and now they do. But I was
maybe they didn't want your creepy sex scene in whatever fucking movie you showed them, right?
I was like, if you let people fuck on screen.
Amen to that. Let people fuck. Let people kill. Look, this is why we go to the movies.
You want to talk about?
We don't want this in real life, but I like it in a fantasy. I want sex in real life. Actually,
yeah. I'd let Brandon Sklena just.
I redacted the last statement.
But it's funny because it's all this thing about like nostalgia. I'm like, you know what movies used to have? Sex. You want to do nostalgia?
Dicks and tits.
Bring back, like Basic Instinct would blow people's minds now. Like, show that to a teenager, they'd be like,
go back and listen to our 0 to 100 episode on Basic Instinct.
Like, almost. Let people have sex. And if those people look like Sydney Sweeney and Brandon Sklena, let them do it even more. So
let them do it twice.
But I am so happy that The Housemaid. Also, because like I like Sydney Sweeney.
And
it's kind of sucks that she's had this box movies, and also, but I was like, there's a lot of
box office poison, but for like also
very
movies that were never going to be box office hits. Yeah,
that's the thing.
One we'll be talking about soon.
Yes, but that makes me very, very happy, and especially still at number 2. I was like, that movie is going to hang around for a while. Going off of the next few weeks of what's coming out, nothing's going to completely
derail that. Yeah. And even with the unstoppable power of another movie that will be in cinemas for a few more weeks, Avatar: Fire and Ash, inevitably at number 1 for the last few weeks. $4.6 million this week, in its fourth week of release. $46.3 million in Australia. Tracking, I think, it to be 1.7 billion worldwide, which is pretty good.
I mean, wild. But also, like, it's funny seeing, like, it's just not making us. I'm like, it's still making $1 billion.
I don't think it was ever going to make $2 billion. And we spoke about that when we talked about it.
Because I was like, you released this movie only a few years after such a massive break. But as much as everyone wants to joke about like, oh, you say there's no cultural impact and look how much money it's making, it's still, I was like, I don't hear anybody like raving about it.
No.
People are going, but
people
I'm like,
seeing it, and that's it.
Like, I'm hearing more people are talking about I've seen more people talk about The Housemaid than Avatar.
I agree. And it's funny for me to think that, because like I said, this is my favorite Avatar in the series. Again, not saying loads, because I don't love these movies.
Yeah, like they're
fine for what they are.
Yeah.
But fuck, man, $46 million in Australia alone.
But again, people are going out to the movies.
Exactly. And they're going
you know,
out to premium format, so they're experiencing Avatar in the way it should
which
be
is
experienced.
like good because it
I
does
agree.
deserve to be seen, you know. But we have we know a lot of people that work in the industry, and they are like we need movies like Avatar because
for sure.
you know COVID's just conditioned people differently, and it really sucks. So, you know,
go out to the movies.
I'm not mad if a movie like Avatar is making $46 million in Australia alone, because that's $46 million that's not sitting on a television screen.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
So that is the box office recap for the last few weeks. Thanks to you to Numero Box Office, as always. Sydney Sweeney was at number 2, and she's got a 1-2 punch of films with the next movie we're going to talk about, which is Christy.
Your career? All of it?
Honey, you are like family to me. I am worried about you. I've heard some stuff.
What stuff?
There's no Christy Martin without me.
I need help, Mama.
So Christy is an American biographical sports drama directed by David Michaud, shout out Australian filmmakers, and was written by David Michaud and Mira Folks, starring Sydney Sweeney, Ben Foster, Merritt Weaver, Katie O'Brien, Ethan Embry, and Chad L. Coleman. It chronicles the rise of former professional boxer Christy Martin, who was played by Sweeney, to becoming America's best-known female boxer in the 90s, and then her later her coach turned husband's abuse and attempted murder. Heavy movie. This is a heavy fucking movie. No surprise with David Michaud, who I want to quickly shout out. We did on World of Screens. Everyone would have seen if you're on our Instagram, our 25 for 25. We all did our picks of 25 favorite movies the last 25 years.
Hardest thing to do ever.
That was torture, and I will accept all the lickings that come my way, because that was really hard for me too.
There was just, it was like the amount of movies
I've changed it in my head 20 times since.
Like the amount of movies that were just like amazing from last year alone. But then I was like, but in the grand scheme, like it was so difficult. And then when I was sort of putting everything together, I was like, fuck, all right. I think a lot of like Ashley was like, wait, Spirited Away? I'm like, yeah, like
I didn't know you had a bit of Miyazaki.
Like, I think it was just, but it was kind of fun to like
go conversations I had were great,
and be like, my God, there have been some incredible films.
Exactly. One of which for me is David Michaud's Animal Kingdom. I think that's one of the best fucking Australian films ever made.
Yeah.
And he's incredible in that. But no, we will not be doing that for at least another 25 years, Pete. So don't stress. Don't worry.
Oh, good.
just know that in the back of your mind, 25 years from now, we'll be doing this exact same thing. But yeah, David Michaud, incredible filmmaker, but not known for making the most entertaining and easily consumable of material. But this, obviously the big talking point of this is being Sydney Sweeney doing her drama star vehicle. I only saw this a few days ago. I saw it recently. You saw it at TIFF, if I recall correctly.
I did, yeah. So going into TIFF, obviously, like I put down kind of a non-negotiable list of like, okay, these are the movies that like I really want to see, either if I get tickets to a public screening, if I'm lucky to get a premiere ticket, or I'll see it at a press and industry. Right. And like I wanted to see it for like a lot of reasons. I was like, David Michaud for one. I was like, I really wanted to see Sydney Sweeney's performance, because there was so like I've just seen so many
about it for sure.
Yeah. And I saw this at a press and industry, one of the most packed press and industry screenings. Like there was a lot.
Doesn't shock me as well. Yeah, I think a lot of people were intrigued by this.
And yeah, it was like for the first like half, I was like, this is good, but it isn't changing much in terms of the sporting biopic. I was like, we've seen like,
rise of the young boxer who has to,
I was like, it's well directed. I was like, Sydney Sweeney, like haters
very convincing.
She's And like when you see her in this and then you see the housemaid, you're like, oh, she actually like she put on muscle, she put on
Yep.
size, her face just like I was like,
Yeah.
it's a very
She embodied someone else.
Yeah.
I think for this for
Yeah,
sure.
like
I didn't see a lot of Sydney Sweeney on
yeah,
screen, which I think
watching
is
it,
a
I was
testament
like,
to her.
there is definitely a lot of times where I was like, oh, I've got to remind myself that it's Sydney Sweeney.
Totally, yeah. But I
So
think that's
yeah,
the physicality and the demeanor as well.
yeah.
Like even just the accent change as well. I was like, oh wow, she's really sort of nailed this.
And I was like, and I loved how she would like, because obviously we know Sydney Sweeney to be very, I guess, like forward with her sensuality. Like she knows
Sure.
she's got a great body. She knows how to like utilize that.
Yeah.
What I loved about her characterization in this was how Christy, as much as a fighter she was, there was this kind of like
So there's a bit of reservedness about her.
yeah, and like a
Vulnerability, yeah.
vulnerability, and like she was just almost like so surprised at what she could do, and it's the way that
Well, because
Sydney,
she's a boxer who is discovered through sort of natural talent. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't something she was ever wanting to really pursue.
they
And
yeah,
it was
like when
just the path that was kind of made for her.
like one of the things I remember is like when she's at like it's one of the matches, and she just like punches this girl.
Yeah.
The girl goes straight down, and you see Sydney Sweeney just almost like looking around, like did I like
She's like,
did I
what the
do it? Like
is that
did
what
I
you
do
guys
it well?
wanted? Yeah. And then everyone's like, holy shit.
Yeah,
And that's what
but-
led the path, because I think it's worth explaining as well. Christy Martin was the first ever female boxer to have a pay-per-view
yeah.
event
Oh,
made
like
around
she
her by
she
like Don
paved,
King
like
and just
she
yeah,
paved the way for a lot of women in
Yeah.
the sport.
totally.
But yeah, like the first half, I was like, okay, this is good.
And the I guess the struggle, the human struggle that is the narrative in the first half, which is the thing that is like what you think the film's going to focus on, is that she's also a lesbian.
Yeah.
And she has a very conservative Christian mother who is obviously not a fan that she's a lesbian.
Yeah.
But when the boxing sort of happens, she gets all these opportunities and she feels her mum's pride. She's so quick to then be like, well, I'm going to marry my trainer or my coach, who's played by Ben Foster, who, again, not known for his lighter roles, who I love as an actor. I think he's a fucking fantastic actor.
He's so underrated.
A monster in this film.
That's the thing. When this, like,
not a fucking easy guy to watch.
It's so weird to say, like, the second half of the film is what I enjoyed more, because the second half of the film is monstrous. Like
it's
when
awful. It's
when you
so
see
hard.
when you see the abuse that he inflicted upon Christy,
emotional, physical, psychological, getting her addicted to cocaine, like which I didn't know anything about, which is not a spoiler, but like just how that affects their lives.
And we'll say there's a scene in a bedroom that
is fucking
like one of just the most harrowing sequences.
Probably one of the most violent things I've seen in 2025. Yeah, unexpectedly as well.
And that scene, like it was that scene in the screening, fucking like everybody, you saw kind of everyone kind of just like recoil. There was like silent, like everyone was
really
just, like,
takes you off guard.
Like everyone was
chills
like,
just thinking about it. Actually,
but it's the second half of the film that is the stronger, more interesting story, because we're seeing, like we've seen the sporting biopic. You want to know what happens to her, what she was going through, and it's awful what she's going through.
Would you say it's kind of a bit more, that second half's a bit more akin with something like The Smashing Machine?
Yes.
It's less about the fighting and more about the person. Yeah. So does the second half work without the first half, do you think?
I think
it's tough, right? Like
you need the first half because you need to like her.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
You need to understand like what her parents are putting her through. You need to understand the pressure, the fact that she was fighting her sexuality all the way to the end, regardless of that she was married to a man. You know that they didn't exactly have like a flourishing sex life or anything. Like,
well, and that's the issue. Their marriage is very much based on his sexual needs.
Yeah, it's all about. Oh, some of
that the other bedroom scene,
the prosthetic. I just remembered. I was like, "Ooh,
yeah."
Yeah, it's all about him having absolute control over her in every possible facet. So you do need the first half for the second half to land as hard as it does.
Yes,
Because
it's
I also
very
think
effective.
a whole film with the second half mentality would just be excruciating to
It'd be
watch.
tough to sit through, yeah.
But
Because it
also you're
does
like,
feel like a movie of two halves. I
but
agree, yeah.
you would also expect David Michôd to give you a whole movie like that too.
Totally. Yeah.
But I feel like it is a real shame that this has been kind of as dismissed as it is because
I
I think
agree with that.
it's a good movie.
I think it's good, not great, but like it's still
Like Sydney Sweeney's performance feels like something that like it's interesting to me. If this film made $100 million, would Sydney Sweeney
be
be more of a
nominated.
front runner? Because that doesn't change her performance at all.
Agreed. Yeah. I
Because her
think it's
performance
the
is
best work
good.
she's done.
She's great in this. And I spoke to David Michôd about it, and I just sort of said like, you've made films about men who basically, I was like, who think they're in control and they're not. And then I was like, so how was it making a movie about a woman who is in control but like isn't allowed
It's
to
taken
be?
away from her, yeah.
And he was just like, oh, and I was like, and part of me was like, fuck, I really hope that like I
that
didn't
landed the
but,
right
like,
way, yeah.
but I was like, I hope I didn't insult, like, because I was like, I'm not saying your other films are bad in any way. I was like,
no.
They're just about very misguided men who
It's a different avenue for him. Yeah, for sure.
Thankfully he was like, oh, it's a great question. I'm like, yes, it is.
Got
It's
him.
good. But it's just he's such a phenomenal director.
Yes.
And I'm so happy that we got this in cinemas because
Agreed.
that movie opened in November.
Yep.
And
just before
tanked
Thanksgiving,
so hard that you wouldn't be surprised if they just pulled it from any other theatrical.
Every other release, yeah. If it was the same distributor, but it's lucky because it's Black Bear who made the film self-distributed it, and that was a big thing.
Yeah.
That came out with in Hollywood. They were like, are these production companies going to start self-distributing now?
Yeah.
The answer is no, because Christy did not do well.
Yeah.
But Roadshow and Kismet are releasing it here.
Yeah.
So they kind of don't have much to lose. Like they just need it to perform well in Australia.
And is it going to benefit from a later release here because we're in post-Housemaid territory? Do more people then go, oh, Sydney Sweeney's got another movie out.
Yeah.
We'll go watch this.
If you're a fan of The Housemaid, just prepare yourself. Very different tonally.
Yeah. So like I'm very, very happy that I saw it in Toronto. I was like, I'm very happy that I put it on the list and was like, I'm not budging on this movie.
I think I agree with your sentiments about the first half, and I think the issue is that multiple times in the first half I thought $1 Million Baby. I was just like, $1 Million Baby. I've seen this before. $1 Million Baby.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
She's she doesn't come from as much poverty as Hilary Swank's character does.
No,
$1 Million Baby, but it's still sort of like middle America. Just church upbringing, just trying to do her best.
The mother doesn't appreciate the lifestyle, but the father's more supportive. But the father also can't really.
Christy Martin has a little bit more like gusto about her as well. She's a bit more opinionated. Like she will say how she feels. She tells people to go fuck themselves.
Which I think makes the second half like that much more heartbreaking because I'm like, she's someone who like she can fight this, but also her husband is he's so manipulative and so powerful that he knows what to say and do to really knock her down.
A peg,
like it's weird because she would like one punch and he'd be fucking out. But she knows that she can't do that because it's like he's made her Christy Martin sort of thing. So it is really interesting.
But yeah, it's a movie of two halves, and that first half, like if you want that more traditional sports biopic, you're going to get that in the first half. But just know it takes a huge fucking turn for its last hour. I when I asked before about whether it works, the second half works like the first half, I think you can do that first half like in a first act.
It probably doesn't need to be as long
as it needs to be. I think this movie does feel long, which again, and not a knock to David Michôd, because obviously one of his movies is one of my favorite movies of all time, but that is a tendency of his that he does sort of like sitting in misery and sitting in the world.
Oh, yeah, you don't walk out of like
yeah.
as much as the film sort of then talks about how the things that Christy Martin has done and the fact that she's finally happy. She's in a relationship with a woman who
she's married to a woman who she
happens
boxed,
to be,
which is great.
Originally her like competition.
Actually, that photo, the photo at the end of like they got married, and then it's from their fight initially, and then the happy photos next. I thought was quite funny.
Yeah, so
she's obviously a huge domestic violence advocate now as well, and whatnot.
And so as much as the film kind of shows you that, like, yes, she's in a much better place now, you still don't walk out of that film feeling like lighter in any way, because it really, I don't think we can stress enough. There are certain scenes in that second half that are just like, so harrowing.
I think enough times passed with the smashing machine, like the attempted suicide scene in the smashing machine, which is very harrowing and very intense. This has that same tonal energy, except there's far more follow through.
Yeah.
And the violence that is displayed is harrowing, is really tough to watch. And that's, again, coming from us who we've gloated so much on this podcast about how much we love horror and we love horror violence. There is a difference when it's a real person and it's real violence that's getting inflicted.
When you know
very
that
impactful.
When you know that
this happened to an extent,
we'll just say anything. Like basically anytime
it's probably very triggering as well, probably to an extent. Like I think that's probably an important thing to point out.
People that have been in domestic abuse situations, relationships, just be on guard. But they're just anytime Sydney Sweeney and Ben Foster are in a bedroom, just
maybe it's the time to walk out for a bit. Be
on guard, because I
do appreciate movies being unflinching. I know some people will disagree with that, but I do appreciate when movies and filmmakers like David Michaud can show that in such an unflinching way, because sometimes it does hammer the point home a little bit more for people, and I think that's what film is great for.
Yeah, like I think this film would absolutely lose so much more of its impact if they glossed over it, or they made it unfortunately it's like, and it's not, I will say, it's not a gratuitous, it's not done because it's like, oh, let's just embellish this. I was like, it's not done to like,
there's a realistic, there's a brutal realism to it.
Yeah, like that's it. You want to be like, this, unfortunately, this shit happens.
Yeah.
And if it's one of those scenes that then sparks a conversation, then
totally
great. But I want people to go out and see this. I don't want the box office. I don't want it's perceived, perceived perception. That's not a thing. I don't want
but just the perception of it to be like it's
the reason
because it didn't do well. Yeah, it's a good movie.
And there'll probably be a whole lot of audiences that have no idea that it tanked.
Exactly.
You have to be very chronically online for you to know that this movie did not do well.
No.
So I just hope people go out to it. But just be on guard.
Be prepared for that. And that is Christy, and that is another episode of the World of Screens podcast. We're back at it, Pete. The dust is off, the cogs are turning, which means we will be back with another episode later in the week. And on the next episode, we're going to be chatting. This is going to be a really fun episode. I'm quite excited for this. 28 years later, The Bone Temple. No spoilers, but it's good. Hamnet and No Other Choice. So we've got 3 pretty big films that we'll be talking about on next week's episode. In the meantime, though, head to worldofscreens.com. You'll be able to see all our write-ups, film, TV reviews, news, awards expert articles, much, much more from there at World of Screens on Instagram, as always. And if you want to see more of Peter Gray, where his Christie interviews have gone up, Hamnet interviews are going up, 28 years later, Bone Temple interviews are going up. Where can they find you on the internet?
Going on the aureview.com. In my mind, I thought the Sydney Sweeney interview was going to do really well. It's done really well. The David Michaud interview, done that much better. I'm like,
Aussie.
There we go. So the aureview.com, there's just the amount of stuff that I've put up in the last few days is wild. Rated PDG on X and Instagram, Letterbox, which I need to.
You're doing 2026 is the
I
year
need
of
to be
Peter
more.
Graham
I
Letterbox.
need to be more updated on it. Thankfully, there's only like 2 movies I can log. Regarding what's good.
Yeah,
for
for this year. Yeah.
But I have already watched like 19 movies this year. Like,
well done.
And yes, that's everything. And Rotten Tomatoes, but
there we go.
But you see all, but yeah, GRAY. Don't forget the AY. And where can they find you, Nicholas?
I thought you'd never ask, Pete. Well, you can find me at NickFlixFix on Instagram, X, TikTok, Letterboxd. Novastream.com.au is where you will find 28 years later the Bone Temple interview with Nia DaCosta and Aaron Kellyman.
Yeah.
That went up today on day of recording. But always, as always, waterscreens.com at waterscreens. Thank you all for listening. Thank you for your support. And we'll be back later in the week with another episode of the Waterscreens podcast.
Goodbye.